Hey guys, Tyler here, and I want to thank you all for asking me all these different questions. I'm going to have a lot of fun answering all these that you gave me. Now, I did record an original version of this, but it exceeded the time limit that my camera had on the disc that I was using, so I decided that I got to cut a few of these down, but don't worry, all of you will have at least one question that I will answer of yours. And so let's get to it, and I got a few announcements, so stay tuned at the end. First one comes from Reviews by Ted. Are there any songs right now that are so bad that whenever you hear them, you just want to jump off a bridge? If you thought Friday was bad, watch My Jeans, and maybe you'll have a different reaction than that. That song is way worse. From Sean Webcom Official, a good friend of mine and also designed my custom channel background. Thanks again, man. Console games or computer games? Well, since I don't really play console games anymore, even though I still have an Xbox 360 in my room, I'd have to say computer games now. Have you ever met a celebrity? Yes, I have. I've met Ray Romano. In fact, I have picture proof of that. This is a few years back in freshman year or so, but this is me with him right here. Look very close here, like that's when I had barely any hair too. But I got to meet him at a celebrity golf tournament, and that was definitely great. And I also met Aaron Eckert at the Battle Los Angeles premiere. If you remember in my review that, I have a signed poster from him, so yeah, that was pretty cool too. From Insane Burger, top 3 favorite YouTube movie critics. I'd have to say Theory of the Film Fan, Schmoes No, and Chris Stuckman. If you were making a movie, what 3 main actors, actresses would you pick? It would be an interesting setup, but I'd choose Robert De Niro, Matt Damon, and Paul Giamatti. I would definitely make that work, trust me. From another really good friend of mine, Pablo Beal. How many Blu-rays do you have? 39. What is your most anticipated film of the summer? Well, since we're halfway now, I'd say Captain America: The First Avenger. What is your most anticipated film after the summer? Steven Spielberg's War Horse. What is your first movie-related memory? I have to say, when I always used to watch Toy Story 1 and 2 on VHS, back when VHS was actually big, I used to watch both those all the time. Thank you to my parents so much for buying those for me when I was young, because that really signified my childhood. Favorite Pixar film? Toy Story trilogy. From one of the very first friends I made on YouTube, Tom Beliotis. If a movie were to be made about YouTube movie reviewers, who would you want to be in the directing chair? Surprisingly, I would choose Jon Favreau. He's one of my favorite directors, but he's a guy that really stays in touch with his fans. So if he really gets to know the source material or the backstory of something that's based on, I bet he could really make something like this work, because he always gives back to the fans. And that's one reason why he has over 1.5 million followers on Twitter, too. What would you do if The Dark Knight Rises ended up sucking? Yeah, just kidding. I wouldn't do that. But I'd still be pretty pissed. From The Cinematologist, one of the members of the Random Mind team, along with me, Anthony, and Reviews by Ted, who's the newest member. Where do you get a major in when you go to college? Without a doubt, film for sure. How do you get into the early screenings? Well, I enter contests local around the San Diego area, because Los Angeles is just too far to go to from here. So I enter contests online, and if I get lucky and get some passes or get the GoFobo code in time, I go to them. You wait in line for a while, though that's the only downside with them, but yeah, that's mostly how I get my early screenings. From another really good friend of mine, Alan Gunn 97. Most anticipated movies of 2012. The Amazing Spider-Man reboot, even though I kind of bashed the idea of it at first, it's looking a lot better as it's going on. The Hunger Games, The Avengers, The Dark Knight Rises are my main favorites. I can't really think of too many of them that are releasing next year, but those are like my really, really highly anticipated ones. Favorite movie character? I'd have to say Randy Meeks from Scream, Jamie Kennedy's character, because he's such a film geek like me. Me and him could talk for hours about the same subject. Who would win in a fight, Rambo or John McClane? Well, if you can survive in a truck against a fighter jet, and then jump between 2 highway overpasses as the jet explodes behind you, without a doubt John McClane. Where are some movies/franchises you think should be rebooted? The Last Airbender for sure. And more recently, Green Lantern deserves a reboot, because the movie that we got was definitely not the one that the fans wanted, I bet. From MovieFan978, do you think The Shawshank Redemption deserves to be #1 on IMDb Top 250? If not, what do you think should be? It's very hard because opinions are so diverse on the greatest movies that are out there, but if it was my opinion, I'd say Pulp Fiction, because there's still been no film that has topped the greatness that Quentin Tarantino did with that. From Morning Beverage, what do you think of Kristen Stewart as an actress, as a person, and do you think she's hot or at least attractive? Okay, after Twilight, I think she is going to be a good actress, actually. But as a person, I'm not really of a fan, and I think she's a little bit attractive. I don't really like her all that much. From another friend of mine, Film Recall, TV show that's most nostalgic for you. Hey Arnold, if one action hero could be your dad, who would it be? Well, first of all, he's white like me, he's bald, he has so many pairs of sunglasses, so I'd say definitely the live free or die hard version of John McClane. Plus I get to call him Bruce Willis whenever I get the chance to when he has no hair, so that's awesome enough for me then. What's a movie you're embarrassed that you haven't seen? The Godfather Part 2. From Almost a Beast 23, what is your favorite TV show HBO has ever produced? I don't really have a favorite yet because I'm still trying to catch up on so many of the TV shows they have out there, but if I had to say right now, it would be True Blood and Entourage are my favorites on there, but I still have so many things left to watch from them. I do have The Pacific, and I have Band of Brothers and another DVD shelf right here, and I'm really looking forward to getting around to that. I haven't really seen so many of the great ones they've made, but True Blood and Entourage right now are my temporary favorites. From Mr. Creepshow09, what's the latest on Lindsay Lohan? She got out on house arrest and now is back drinking again, so that was really no surprise there. From Ryan57361, favorite food? Pizza. What Hollywood movie actress would you go out on a date with for one night? Where would you take her? Haha, random? Yes, it is. I'd take out Lindsay Fonseca. I've been crushing on her ever since Hot Tub Time Machine and Kick-Ass. I would take her down to like the Santa Monica Pier, go to the Rubies over there, and then just lie at the beach at night, just look into the skies as the sun sets. That's just the perfect romantic date. Guys, I hope you're taking notes when I say that right there. From the Saw Fan 101, what are some of your favorite bands? Green Day's still my favorite band. I have 2 posters of them in my room. The 21st Century Breakdown Tour concert I saw on my 16th birthday was one of the greatest concerts, no wait, the greatest concert I've ever been to. But my other favorites are Rise Against, Rage Against the Machine, all the classic rock bands like AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, Slayer, Metallica. There are just so many bands. Another one that's really rising up on my radar though is CKY. If you've heard of Bam Margera, his brother Jess is the drummer of that band. They got some great tracks and their music was featured a lot in Viva La Bam as well. Do you own a Windows or a Mac? I own a Dell, which is partnered with Windows. What editing program do you use? I use Sony Vegas Platinum Pro, some of the easiest editing software out there to use. From Mr. Noah, how many DVDs do you own? I recently did a count, and I have 249, which you can see most of them back there, over there, and I have others like in a stack right over here because I ran out of space back there as well, but that's the current count right now. That's definitely going to boost later this summer though. From Keen1 4U, are you a Marvel or DC fan? And what do you think about the other companies' attempt to boost sales? I am a huge Marvel fan. Deadpool is always going to be my favorite character. I love Spider-Man, love the X-Men, the second most in the universe. I just think they have way better characters most of the time than DC. DC's just, I don't really like all their characters all that much as Marvel. And I heard that DC's doing a mass reboot of all their characters, so that's definitely going to be interesting. From the Critic with a Mouth, guilty pleasure film. The Crank films, without a doubt. The greatest a movie will ever come close to being a real video game, and one movie franchise where you will never see 2 sex scenes happen in the same place ever again. If there was a zombie attack in your school, where would you mark his place where you would go into your school to hide and act as a place for defense against the hordes of zombies? I would hide in a woodshop class, definitely, because you'd have a saw, a drill. Those are the perfect weapons to also fend them off as well. From Andres BV18, what kinds of films/short films have you written or made? What are they about? Care to share some with the viewers? I'm writing a few right now, and by the way, look right here because I got a new channel up, which is my second channel, Cali Critic Films. Actually, it's a Tyler Christian film, but I like to call it that as well to coincide with my main channel, of course. But subscribe there because I'm going to start putting up short films throughout the summer. So definitely check out that channel. Subscribe if you wish to because I have 2 films in the works right now. One is a comedy and the other is a horror film. So stay tuned on those and check out the channel if you wish. What are some of your favorite themes in movies? I think greed is probably my favorite theme because if handled right by the writers or writer and director, if they handle it right with the paths that the character chooses to go along and the way it will unravel in the last act where they'll either reach their demise or succeed in point, I really think that you can really push the boundaries a lot of where you can take your character to go with in a movie like that, so I definitely think that greed is one of the best themes. Do you like South Park? What is your favorite episode? I really like South Park, but I have so much catching up to do on the last season because I missed so many episodes because I was distracted by some other shows that were happening on TV. But if I had to say what my favorite one would be, I'd have to say the one in which they try to kick out the priest for molesting the kids in South Park, and it like leads to this whole side plot involving the Vatican. That was by far one of the funniest episodes I've ever watched of the show. From Movie Dude 1500, what do you think is the most underrated and overrated movie of the past decade? Underrated, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, without a doubt. If you've not seen that film, go see it right now. Overrated, unfortunately, I'd have to say True Grit. For some reason, I just didn't like it as much as everyone was pointing out to be one of the best westerns and movies of the year. I just didn't really like it all that much for some reason. Are you looking forward to seeing Hugo Cabret, the latest film from director Martin Scorsese? Scorsese's one of my favorite directors, so of course I'll be seeing that. From another really good friend of mine, Movie Guru 16, what is your favorite Blu-ray? I have to say my Inception Blu-ray, because not only does it look perfect on screen, but also it comes with a mini shooting script with it, in which you can learn so much as an amateur screenwriter from that alone. What is your favorite movie score / movie composer? I don't really have a favorite score offhand, but it's a tie between my two favorite composers. That would be John Williams, because you can never leave that guy out. And I'd have to say James Horner is my runner-up, because he created a lot of nostalgic scores for me, especially the one in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, because that's a childhood favorite of mine. From Rival Film Studios, what comic book superhero should they never make into a movie? I'd say Wonder Woman, because if you can't even make a TV show off of that, then that just proves the death-defying consequences there will be if you try to make a movie off of it then. Why the name Cali Critic? I have no idea why I really chose the name Cali Critic at first, actually, because if I remember, I was on the Rotten Tomatoes show several times before it was handed down to the critics. By the way, the links are below for all the times that I was on the Rotten Tomatoes show, in which, yeah, my hair was different during that time, of course, too. I wasn't like this, of course. It was back in my videos that you've seen before. But check those out if you can. But that's kind of what it originated from, because I was trying to think of a good name, and I figured, I live in California, I want to be a film critic, so let's just combine the two and call it Cali Critic. Yeah, that was really stupid too. From Cameron Jones 10,000, do you watch Community? Got season 1 right here. One of the greatest, most underrated comedies on TV. I will scream for joy if it gets a couple Emmy nominations, but I'll tell you, Abed, who is right here, he needs an Emmy nomination more than anything, because he deserves it so much for it. And also Joel McHale, because he's just purely awesome. What is your favorite and least favorite comic book movie? My favorite comic book movie, definitely The Dark Knight. My least favorite, the 2003 Hulk that was directed by Ang Lee. That's one of the very few movies I have ever walked out of right there. From another friend of mine, the movie guy Zero, who are your favorite directors? If I had to break it into a few, I'd say my favorite is still Quentin Tarantino, Steven Spielberg, Stanley Kubrick, Martin Scorsese, Edgar Wright, and I'm forgetting some others. Let me just look back quick, maybe I'll figure out some. Oh yeah, the Coen brothers are a favorite of mine too, especially for Fargo and Raising Arizona, which are still my two favorites of theirs. I'm still trying to get into watching Miller's Crossing as well, but I'd say those are my favorite directors right now. What is the best looking Blu-ray that you own? As I said before back about my Inception Blu-ray, definitely the best looking one. What type of music do you listen to? I listen to rock and alternative mostly, but I do have a side for rap music most of the time, but pop music today can go to hell for all I care. From Path of Oblivion, if you could have dinner with any character, who would it be? Randy Meeks from Scream, because he's a film geek like me. We could talk about film for the whole time. I just love talking to people about film who share the same passion for it as I do. I definitely have a good time talking with him throughout. What is your favorite foreign film? City of God for sure. See that film if you haven't already. From Shit on the Globe 100, what do you do besides doing videos? I swim at least a mile in lap swim pools at least 3 times a week. I do some upper body work as well, I'm trying to build myself up before I head off to college. And I'm gonna be doing short films, as I said before. Like I said, I'm working on a few scripts and all. I hang out with my friends too, I'm not a loner all the time. I find time to hang out with friends too. So those are kind of the main things I do. I always watch movies whenever I get the chance to, so those are the main things that I do when I'm not doing these videos like I'm doing right now. If you were an actor, which director you'll work with? Quentin Tarantino for sure. He's my idol for getting into film anyway. From We All Review Movies, one of the 3 collab channels I'm part of, if you had to make a bucket list of things to do before you die, what would be number 1 on the list? My number 1 on the list would definitely be release a film in Hollywood. I don't care if it's independent or mainstream, whatever it is, I just want to make a film that at least a few people around the world will be able to see. I care about how it will do, but I just want to get a movie made in Hollywood more than anything. YouTube is being shut down. You have the chance to watch one more YouTube video before it's gone forever. What video would it be? I have to say the Schmoes Know review of Night and Day, because that's where the cartoon cat got originated from. Watch that video if you haven't already, because it's one of the funniest schmo moments there ever were. From The Reliable Review, how did you get off for summer so early? Well, since they're doing budget cuts for school around the state of California, they decided to cut several more days off our schedule and start us even earlier than last year. So we ended up getting off very early. Like, we started school back in August 11th of last year, so since they took more days off, they decided to release us earlier. So that's how we got graduated on May 27th, and now I'm heading off to college on September 14th or 15th. I'll be moving in those days. From Stuffed Burrito Ent, I think I said that right. How serious are you with your channel as far as getting subs, getting partnered? In other words, is this just a hobby or something you are pursuing? It's kind of 50-50. I love doing this even if I don't get paid for it, but my main goal is of course getting partnership. I mean, I love doing this, so I guess it is really just both. I really like to talk movies with everyone, and I really want to get partnership status in the future. That is good, so both basically. Would you ever do a review while doing some sort of outdoor activity? Sometime I go over to the local park, which is only like a few blocks away from here, maybe do a review there. People would get weird if I'm there talking to my camera, so I don't care if it's weird or not, I'll do it. If you had superpowers that you could use to save people, but in order to keep them you had to stop watching movies, would you do it? No, I'm sorry, I cannot live without film. From Ty Jensenable, what annoys you? Today's music industry, for sure. From Corey Hart Rules, did you ever have a dream that you were in a movie? In fact, I did. When I was young, I used to always watch Home Alone, and I would always dream that I was in Kevin's place, coming up with these goofy traps to fight off all the criminals. And then, I think back in 4th grade or so, me and my friend Chris, whenever we would go into each other's houses, we would take a bunch of stuff, and we would create our own booby traps across the house, and create our own Home Alone. We would used to do it so much. It was one of the funniest things that we'd ever do, because the traps were so stupid at some points, but they were so funny at the same time. I mean, if there's anything that nostalgic that Home Alone ever did for me, it would definitely be that. I used to dream it, and I lived it, so I got the half and half of both. What is a common misconception that many have of you? When I had my hair, all the way crossed over like this, I would say, oh, Justin Bieber doing movie reviews. Not cool. Not cool at all. From Korma Kamam, favorite TV shows. Breaking Bad is by far my favorite television show there is right now. Dexter's my second favorite. I also love True Blood, Entourage, Sons of Anarchy, South Park. I love 90s Nickelodeon so much though. Hey Arnold, Rocket Power. Oh my god, that's my childhood right there. Every morning on the weekends I'd be perched in front of the TV watching Nickelodeon. When it was good. And when there wasn't crap like that on the air. From Least Like Critic 75, what character from what TV show that annoys you the most? Lubert from iCarly. I cannot stand that show anymore, and that guy is just so annoying. I mean, Teen Nick, you have gone so downhill since Drake and Josh ended. From Ronet, have you ever walked out of a movie / turned one off? As I said before, I walked out of the 2003 The Hulk, and I ended up turning off this movie called Be Cool, which was a sequel to Get Shorty with John Travolta. I could only watch 40 minutes of it. I did not like any of it at all, and I haven't even watched it at all since. Favorite movie trailers. Battle Los Angeles was definitely one of my favorites, but even though if you look back in my review, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5, that was mostly because of the crowd I was with. So now I'd probably give it a 2 now because, so disappointing. But such an epic trailer. Great music, the great battles that were shown, the short bits, because the battles all in all weren't that well shot at all, but such a great trailer. But the movie sucked. Favorite soundtracks. My favorite soundtrack, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, without a doubt, because there's so much great music in there, especially all the video game sounds they incorporated in there. But my second favorite is one that not many people would be expecting, and that's the one to Shoot 'Em Up, because it featured so many of my favorite bands in there. It played Ace of Spades by Motorhead, it had one of Nirvana's songs in there, it had, oh wow, there's just so much great rock music in there. That's why, another reason why that movie is one of the greatest guilty pleasures ever created. From Complicated with Words, if you could be any animal, then what would you be? This may sound weird at first, but I have to say Black Mamba, because that thing moves around so fast, and the fact that it's one of the few snakes that can pick up half its body off the ground at the same time. It's weird that I'm contradicting myself at the same time for that, because, like Bam Margera, I am absolutely terrified of snakes. But if I could be any mammal, I would be that. I wouldn't be a mean one, try to get aggressive if someone gets near me. I just keep going along. I'd compete against someone in Africa in a marathon if I could, if I was a black mamba. And what are some of your major goals in life? Definitely become a filmmaker, or keep doing this full time and getting partnership status. Anything that's going to involve film, either going to Hollywood, becoming a filmmaker, or keep doing this. definitely those. From A to the J667, what's your favorite superhero movie? Definitely The Dark Knight. From the film critic Sieg, what are some of your favorite books? Cormac McCarthy's written two of my favorite novels, and that is No Country for Old Men and The Road. The Road is absolutely my favorite book of all time, even for how unsettling and dark it is. I really enjoy McCarthy's writing style as well. I'm still trying to get into Hunter S. Thompson's work, but I just can't find the books in my library anywhere. They've been checked out for so long, so thanks to those assholes who aren't turning them in. And also, do you read graphic novels? If so, which are your favorites? I highly recommend The Walking Dead. It's awesome. I actually read The Walking Dead. I have a few of the issues back there near me. Wanted is actually one of my favorites. Like, the movie is okay, but the universe that the graphic novel is set in and all the different stuff that's in there, I love that comic book so much. And I also have a Kick-Ass, and let me just look back, because if you can see that stack back there, or maybe in my head, there we go. Like, I have Scott Pilgrim on top. There's just a lot of graphic novels I read. I'll be bringing home more from Comic-Con, of course, this year. From Mike's Movie Show, if somebody was making a movie about your life, who would direct it, and what actor would play you? Well, for a director, I would definitely choose Martin Scorsese, because I think that guy can do a biopic better than anyone in Hollywood. For an actor, though, that would be pretty tough, because they'd have to find someone that like has their hair always down like this all the time. So I don't know about an actor, but if I had to pick someone like to play the older version of me, that would be tough, because they'd be older than I am, of course. I was going to say Christian Bale, but he'd be even older. But then again, that guy can play nearly anyone now. From Robo 500, what are some movies that you love that everyone seems to hate, and what movies do you hate that everyone loves? Well, a movie that I love but my friends hate is Cloverfield. I think Cloverfield is so underrated, but my friends hate it. They'll take a chance to bash it whenever they get the chance to. And a movie that they love but I hate, I remember them all saying how much they loved Just Go With It, and just, oh my god. This conversation is ending just because I told you guys they said that. Adam Sandler. Alright, we're down to the final two, so this next one's from Muser Films. What is your favorite sitcom? Everybody Loves Raymond. I have, like, season 5 through 9 on DVD. This show has so much replay value, it's insane. It's one of the funniest shows ever created. R.I.P. Peter Boyle playing Frank Barone, who I think was the greatest character in the show. Definitely one of the funniest dads ever on TV. This cast just works so well together, and all the times that they have to play off each other, the comedy and line delivery is nailed down so perfectly by them. I don't think that anyone's ever going to find a better ensemble for a sitcom than this group right here. Who's your favorite comic hero? This is kind of an anti-hero at the same time, so Deadpool. He is a huge asshole because he speaks so much, and he never knows when to stop with all the remarks that he's making, but he is such a badass at the same time. You can't kill this guy too. And somehow they tried that in Wolverine. And they messed him up in Wolverine. Still not thank you for that. From Punk 144 157, what is the name of the video in your intro of you holding a bag of chicken nuggets and throwing a DVD on the floor? Well, the chicken nuggets thing is actually a funny story. It was back when I was doing a Rough Cuts review for Food Incorporated, and how I said I'm never going to eat Tyson products again. And the one where I threw a DVD on the floor, that was in my Greatest Movie Ever Sold intro. So, yeah, good times with those. Very random choice at the same time, though. Thank you guys again for watching, and I had a great time answering all these questions. And make sure to subscribe to my second channel where I'll be doing short films. And also, I got an early screening of Horrible Bosses this week, which I'll hopefully be able to go to, so stay tuned for that. My link for the second channel is below and above. My Facebook page and Twitter page is also below, along with the randommind.com, where it's me, Reviews by Ted, the cinematologist, and the Random Mind writing our own movie posts on there. So I'll see you guys later in a few days, and expect a special review that's not Horrible Bosses in the next few days, in which the future reviews after that will be determined by you.